Hey, welcome to Geeky Faucets. I'm Amy Dale.
And I'm Christine Lucas Savage.
And this is episode 43. And today we're going to be talking about Joss Whedon. We're continuing our series we started, the big names, small beginnings kind of thing. And before we get into that, though, we have some events coming up
that we're kind of excited about.
Yeah, we are really excited about. The one I'll be honest, I'm most excited about, of course, is Denver Comic Con. That was just so fun.
It was amazing last year.
Oh my gosh.
So much.
One of my favorite events ever. And it's June 13th through 15th. So go ahead and get it in your calendar now so you can plan your summer around that. And it's obviously in Denver.
It'll be worth it.
And they've announced 2 of their special guests. And one of them is, for you Walking Dead fans, Michael Rooker. He's Merle, who I hated with a passion that was great.
So you're so excited to meet that guy?
I'm like, I'm not sure I should meet him. I hate you! No, but he's also going to be in the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which is going to be awesome. I hope, because I do love the comic series. And yeah, so that one's pretty exciting. And then also Walter, I don't know how you pronounce his last name. Is it Koenig? Anyway, he's Chekhov from the original Star Trek series. Cool. Yes, I know. I always loved Chekhov. So
I just like listening to like Chekhov characters talk, because like in the new Star Treks, I'm like, just keep talking.
Victor. I know. Our favorite line we always quoted around our house is, "I can do that, Captain. I can do that. I can do that." Yeah. So and then another really cool thing about Denver Comic Con is that they're a nonprofit and their proceeds go towards Comic Book Classroom, which is a really, having 2 dyslexic kids, I think anything that promotes literacy and helps kids want to read is a really, really great
And comic
thing.
books are a great start for kids, too, because it's mostly pictures with words, but they're like, what's going on? And they want to read, because my kids all started reading, like, the little kid graphic novels.
Yes, like
that's where,
and the little...
Yeah, that's where they start is, you know, Baby Mouse was one of the favorites
Mouse, yes.
among us.
I read Baby Mouse to Aspen all the time, and I do. A Baby Mouse talks like this all the time.
I can't do voices. We're reading Harry Potter to our kids. They love it.
Oh, isn't it so good?
Yes, they're like, Mom, because sometimes I don't read a whole chapter because
they're long.
They are long, and I'm like, I'm ready for you guys to go to bed.
I know.
And then so I read and like think I stop at a good stopping point, and then my oldest daughter's like, Mom, what's going to happen next?
I know.
Like when we got to where Hagrid comes, you know, and sees Harry, and then I kind of stopped it. We read the Hogwarts, you know, acceptance letter or whatever it was, and then I stopped, and my daughter's like, what? That's it? I'm like, I'm sorry.
I know, and I love doing voice. Reading Harry Potter out loud is my favorite because I'll have all the voices in my head from the movies. I
can't do voices.
But Hagrid, forget about it. It's the voice I cannot do. I have not been able. I can pretty much do an okay version of everybody.
I can barely read the book when he's talking. I'm like, you're for what? Do you know what I mean?
I know, yeah, because he's got such a weird accent, and the way she writes it is the way he talks.
I love it, though. I love the way she writes it. Anyway.
Okay, more events. Galaxy Fest we went to last year, and we showed clips of as well, and it was really fun. And it's one of the events that's here in Colorado Springs. So it was last year. I'm a little confused, though. I need to figure out the details because when I went on their website, it told new dates, which was February 21st through 23rd, 2014. But then when you went on the guest page, it was all the guests from last year. So I don't know if they're having the same people back or if...
If you know, let us know, because
if you're a Galaxy Fest contact, let us know. Otherwise, I will contact them and try to let you guys know what the story is on that. But like last time, there were Power Rangers and Atreyu from what's that movie? Neverending Story.
And then the guy from Lost.
Yeah, Sean Whalen.
Yep, Sean Whalen.
He's in a bunch of stuff. He was like in People Under the Stairs and stuff. And then there was a guy who was in one episode of Walking Dead. Or something like that. Anyway, so I don't know. We'll see what they have. And then the other event that we're doing this year, that's our first time going to, that we are excited about and really interested.
Yeah, seriously, because we don't. Okay, it's Anime Land Wasabi is what it's called, and we're not hugely into anime, but we would like to learn more about it. So we're excited to find out and.
Well, and I just finished watching my first anime. My daughter really loves anime. She's just getting into it. And so I just finished watching my first one called Hiro no Kokira. I'm sure I said that wrong.
Sounded good.
Okay, thanks. Anyway, and I am so... It's really hard for me because I'm slightly dyslexic as well. And the subtitle thing, I have found to be extremely difficult. Like, I have to pause it every once in a while and just be like, okay, Anna, what just happened? Because I was reading and then I was trying to watch and then my brain just was like, no, stop. So if I can find the ones, there's some of them that are dubbed, you know.
I can't handle the dub. I prefer subtitles.
She doesn't like the dubbed either. She's like, that's not the right voice. And I'm like, I don't care about the voice.
I agree with
Anna.
Anna.
I have to read,
I'm with her.
It's hard. So anyway, but there's a lot of stuff. I found it really interesting to watch because I feel like it's like I get the gist of it and I actually loved it. Like you would probably really like it. It's really good. But I feel like there's so much of what happens that's cultural.
Oh, yeah.
That I don't have any idea.
But that's what happens when you started watching, because a lot of stuff would happen. I'm like, Mom, what is going on? Like, because I watched a little bit with her, I'd call her, and a lot of it is totally cultural. Because some of the stuff you see, you're like, what? But now I get it, and so it's fine. So once you watch a few of them, you'll be like,
we'll be immersed. But yeah, I mean, like, I watched this one, and I was just kind of like, there were times when I was like, I stopped it, and I was like, so why'd they do that, Anna? She's like, I have no idea. I was like, okay, I just thought maybe you would, you know, have some understanding. And she was like, no. But she like read up on Japanese culture, and one of the things that was really interesting is that they don't really make much eye contact. Like, they think that if you're really like doing a lot of eye contact during conversation that you're being aggressive. And I was like, I would not be able to handle that culture because I have to have somebody, like, if I'm talking to somebody and they're like not looking at me, I'm like, listen to me! You know?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying.
Really?
I hate it. I'm going to do the rest of the show like this, and I'm not going to look at you at all.
I'm going to pretend like you're talking to them.
I'm just kidding.
Anyway, so I was just like, oh my gosh, I would be such an aggressive person in Japan.
So you are kind of aggressive anyway. I'm scared of you.
I know. I am a little bit aggressive. But I don't do martial arts anymore, so I'm not as scary. It's okay.
I don't do martial arts at all.
Okay, but Anime Land Wasabi, you should look into it if you're into anime. Even if you're not, you might be a fun event to learn more. And it's in Denver, and it's called Anime Land Wasabi. It's February 28th through March 2nd. So the weekend after, I think that's the weekend directly after Galaxy Fest. And one of the guests, their main guest so far is Jeremy Shada. I don't know if that's how you say his name, but he's Finn the Human from Adventureland.
That's pretty cool.
Adventure Time, my bad. Adventure Time. Finn the Human. Jake the Dog and Finn the Human, isn't that right? Yeah.
I think I saw one episode here once, and I'm like, I don't even know what's going on right now.
I feel that way too. And I watched multiple episodes, and I was like, do you guys want to, I did that with the kids. I was like, do you guys want to explain to me what's happening? And they're like, I don't know.
Like, it's just pretty.
Okay.
Smile and nod.
So, yeah, and they're having a rave, apparently. And then they're having, like, a formal dance with a dessert bar. They have all kinds of different events going on. And then they had, did you read about this Maiden Butler Cafe?
I didn't get it.
I didn't either. If you guys know what a Maiden Butler Cafe thing is, let us know, because I read it, and it sounds like people that you can like sign up to get a Maiden Butler during the event or something.
I have no idea. We don't know. We've never done this before.
So if somebody can enlighten us, let us know, because we don't know. Anyway, so all that stuff's coming up. You might want to like pencil it into your calendar and start planning for these events, because they're so much fun to go to. And if you are a geek like us, then it's a really fun place to find kindred spirits and be like,
and you will feel awesome, because when you say things in reference to obscure things that most normal people don't know, they all know. Yeah. Like, you won't feel stupid. Like, if you walk in with a bow tie, people will be like, you're awesome, because it's the doctor, you know, bow ties are cool. That's cool. I mean, people will know. It's fantastic.
It's a really great, it's a good experience. Okay, so on to Joss. Good old Joss Whedon. Do you want to start?
Sure. I didn't see a ton about him, like, in his early
Well,
life.
I just read about his family. That he's third generation
writer,
television writer.
His first TV writing,
the first one, because television's not been around forever, so he's probably the first. That's what it said in the article that I read. Is he's probably the first third generation television writer.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
Yeah, no, he's probably the first third generation.
Yeah, his grandfather wrote for the Donna Reed show and Leave It to Beaver, and his dad was also a writer, but I didn't recognize any of the shows that he wrote on. But Joss Whedon's first TV writing job was for Roseanne.
I know, I thought that was really funny.
Because I'm like, that just doesn't seem like a Joss Whedon.
No, and his mom was a history teacher, and she also wrote novels.
Yeah. So he comes from a long line of writers, apparently, which is a theme that I'm seeing a little bit with some of these guys, is that their parents start off, or they know somebody in the family who did films or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like it's kind of cool to grow. I don't know.
To grow up seeing
somebody else
that, and I think part of it, like I talked about in the article I wrote about, like encouraging kids in creativity, is that it's really important for them to see their parents doing something creative, and it doesn't have to be the typical creative like arts and crafts or like but just anything creative, like even in mechanical type stuff or whatever. But so I think it's really important for kids, and I like almost all the time when you read these articles, I'll be like, my dad was really funny, or my dad was,
it's always something with your parents,
like
which makes me kind of scared to wonder what my kids are thinking of me. Just kidding. So what I thought was interesting because when he made the Buffy film, I think that was his first big one, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so.
When he wrote it, it was changed so much. He wasn't happy with the final Buffy cut. He didn't like it.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's interesting because it's pretty cheesy.
And I'll admit, really different than the series.
I've never even seen the series, but we owned my family owned the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It was one of my dad's favorite movies. But I know. Just awesome. Anyway, so I didn't know that he wasn't happy with it, but that would explain it, that the show, because he had total control over the show.
Show was different. So, it was really different. Because I remember seeing the movie. I actually liked the show, but I remember seeing the movie and being kind of like,
it's a cheese ball movie. Yeah.
So.
He also helped write Toy Story, and he rewrote Speed.
What the heck?
I know, Toy Story.
I was like, I didn't see that one coming.
I didn't either. And then Speed, I didn't see that one coming. He rewrote Speed.
Yeah.
And I wonder what it was before he got his hands on it, because it's pretty awesome.
I do love that movie.
I really like
intense.
that movie. It's intense, but it's not like Walking Dead intense, where something's gonna jump out at you every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't watch The Walking Dead. So I can't handle that kind of
You know what's really funny though, because John tried to get me. Well, there's 2 shows he's recently tried to get me to watch. One is Breaking Bad, and the other is Dexter. And I can watch Walking Dead and Supernatural all day long. It does not bother me in the slightest. I cannot watch one episode of either of those shows.
I watched a lot of Dexter.
Disturbed by both of them.
I watched a couple seasons of Dexter, but then I had to stop because I started feeling really like, I don't know. But I haven't watched Breaking Bad yet.
I was like, I guess my brain understands the difference between
fantasy and reality.
Because as soon as I start watching those shows, it's not the gore that bothers me. Obviously, it's like anyway.
Yeah. So the other one I found interesting, because he wrote Firefly, which is one of our favorite shows ever on the face of the planet. Yes. And so his personal favorite thing he's ever written was the Firefly episode, Our Mrs. Reynolds.
Is that the one where he wears the bonnet?
No, I don't know if he wears a bonnet, but that's the one with when he Christina Hendricks is in there, and he gets married to her, and they have this whole thing, and you know what I'm talking about. He goes and inadvertently gets married.
Yes.
Yeah, that he said that's his favorite thing he's ever written, which is a good episode. I like Mrs. Reynolds, but I like the one where they all the episode where they go and try to steal the little gun, and like they have this whole scheme on her. Do you know what short? I don't know the name of that episode, but anyway, so that was his favorite one he's ever written. His personal favorite thing he's ever written. I'm glad it's something on Firefly.
I know, right?
Because I really, really like it.
You have to love that. You have to love Firefly. It's so good.
Yeah.
I always find it really interesting to know the writer's favorite thing that they've written.
Because you don't expect it. Like, I would have thought it would have been like The Avengers or something like that, because right?
Yeah.
And I think I read somewhere too that he I think he rewrote Spider-Man or something like that, and they didn't like the way he rewrote Spider-Man like the first time or something like that, which is kind of weird because he's like the master of all superhero everything.
It was one of the X-Men
movies. Was it X-Men? Okay, yeah. X-Men. He was the X-Men Spider-Man.
Like he rewrote the whole thing and they chucked it.
Yeah.
And they
could you imagine?
They were kind of like, all we really wanted was a couple extra jokes.
Right.
I was like,
oh, that's so sad.
Maybe you should have been more clear about that.
I know, because that's kind of a lot of work. I thought, X-Men. You're right. It was X-Men.
I don't know why I was thinking Spider-Man.
But he's had his hand in all kinds of stuff, superhero-wise. Very, very good stuff. It's very cool, and a lot of stuff that in Thor, the first Thor, in one of the credits, he helped to direct the scene. One of the credit scenes, but he's unmentioned.
Oh, awesome.
What is that called when they're not mentioned?
They're not mentioned.
No,
not credited.
Uncredited. There you go. That's what I was. Sorry.
We're not good with vocabulary.
I don't know words, but
words are hard.
They are hard. I'll be very interested to see.
I saw that he named his daughter Squire, which I thought was really cool because I was like, well, yeah. she's going to be, probably.
Yes, she.
So.
But anyway, so he's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I know. I loved reading it. I kind of, I enjoyed his story a lot. One thing I really enjoy about him is his sort of pro-women.
Oh, yes.
Thing. That's something that is really unique for a dude who writes superheroes. I really love that.
Well, I think I've mentioned this before a few episodes ago. He was interviewed and somebody asked him, why do you keep writing strong women? And he answered, because you keep asking me that question. Like, why wouldn't you write a strong... Like, in S.H.I.E.L.D. right now, the woman who flies the... I can never remember her name on the show, but her name in real life is Ming-Na Wen. And she is, like, this super awesome badass of the show. Like, I want to be her. She's like Zoe from Firefly.
Oh.
Like, who's just amazing in every way. And you're like, I just want to be her. Like,
I
everything
do too,
about her.
I feel like I'm more like Wash with the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I want to be Zoe, but I'm like
I want to be
Wash.
Zoe.
You probably are like Zoe. I'm
No,
more like...
I think I'm more Kaylee without the engineering smarts. Like, I want to wear the big pink fluffy dress that looks like a wedding cake.
Except I
Captain
can't
Tight
talk
Pants.
about... Yeah. Except I can't talk about motors and stuff.
No, I know nothing about motors. Like, does the key turn and does it go? Good.
That's it.
And we're good.
Yes. We're go for launch.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much for joining us. And next week, I think we're skipping next week because it's Thanksgiving, but the week after, we will have a show about Peter Jackson. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be really good. So tune in for that, and we'll see you next time. Happy Thanksgiving.